Hey everyone, welcome back to Bible Q&A. In today's video, I will be answering the following question. Will Adam be forgiven by God Almighty? In other words, what happened in the Garden of Eden where God laid a curse on Adam and Eve and so on? Was Adam forgiven by God Almighty at some point? Will he perhaps have a second chance? Does Jesus Christ promise in John chapter 5 verses 28 to 29 that there'll be a resurrection of the just and unjust? Will he take part in that, or is he judged and gone forever? And let me just begin by answering the question straight away. God's judgment on Adam in Genesis chapter 3 verse 19. Right, that in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. That was final for Adam. And I'm going to give you two reasons why. Firstly, God Almighty judged Adam for his sin at that moment. Right? He told him in Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 and 17 that if you eat of the forbidden fruit, you will die. And Adam ate of it, and so God Almighty pronounced the death sentence. And God Almighty is portrayed in the Bible as a judge. In Genesis chapter 18, verse 25, Abraham called him the judge of all the earth. And judges never judge the same case twice. He pronounced the judgment on Adam, and so that judgment would be once, and it would be final. Same for the judgments in Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis chapter 19, or the judgment of the entire world of Noah in Genesis chapter 6 to 8. It wouldn't make sense for individuals who God punished for their iniquities to be resurrected or brought back so that they can be judged a second time. That would mean that God's justice at the first was not sufficient. So that's the first reason why Adam's case is closed. But then the second reason is the fact that you recall in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 9 and 10, that Paul gave a catalog of some, not all, but some of the attributes that are found in those who will not inherit God's kingdom. Or put another way, if you have any of those attributes, then you will not live forever. He mentioned idolaters, he mentioned extortioners, and he mentioned effeminate men. That is, men who do not live up to the standard God has placed when they do not live according to God's image, and they're weak. That includes men who listen to their wives, men who allow their wives to rule the home. And if you look at the way Adam had listened to his wife, he was an effeminate man. He was supposed to take charge of the situation. He was supposed to protect his wife, because if you read 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7, Peter said that the wife was created as a weaker vessel by God Almighty, not because God enjoys creating weaker beings, but it was so that the woman could play the role of the nurturer and the companion that he made her for. Read Genesis chapter 2 verse 18. The woman was not made to be Adam's competitor or Adam's equivalent, but Adam's supplement. So Adam was supposed to protect his wife from Satan's influence, and even if for whatever reason he was unable to do that and Eve disobeyed, he was supposed to then reject Eve. But he refused. He listened to his wife, and he became like a weak man. And you see that after he ate the forbidden fruit, he began to hide. Read Genesis chapter 3 verses 8 to 10. God was asking, where are you? Because Adam was supposed to be standing up, was supposed to be strong, not hiding like a weak, defeated, coward-like being. So he was an effeminate man, and Paul said that effeminate men will not inherit God's kingdom. So these are the two reasons. There are obviously more that we can come up with if we continue to study the subject, but in essence, will Adam be forgiven? Or some people even say that God had forgiven Adam. That is false. Adam was judged for his iniquity, and he has died, and his death is permanent. He will not be resurrected to be judged again, because he was effeminate and God Almighty had placed the punishment or the death sentence on him for engaging in such acts. So, of course, that's a warning to us as well. We don't want to walk in that path. Otherwise, unfortunately, the consequence will be the same. But I hope that if you were thinking about this, then the way I explained this will help to make that question clear, or make the answer to that question clear. If you enjoyed this video and liked it, then I'd appreciate if you click the like button. And if you want to join this growing community of Bible enthusiasts, there is the subscribe button waiting for you to click on it. And then, of course, there's the notification bell, because we do come out with videos regularly. So when they come out, you'll be the first to arrive. Anyway, have a great day, and God bless you.